I just took 4 days off from working on my stuff out here because I really needed it. You know, like when you lift weights, you actually tear muscles, and then you heal between, and then you lift weights and tear muscles and you heal. And as long as you're, breaking down your muscles slower than you're healing, you're fine. But I was kind of getting pretty close to the point of just like injury. I could feel it all back here and back of my shoulders. Oh. So the last 4 days I've been stretching a lot and trying to relax and trying to even out my muscles a little bit because I've been lifting so much stuff using my back. So my back is like this, it's like this blanket of muscles. When I lay down, it feels like I'm on a cushion. But then the front was not the same, so I've been doing more push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. I was originally planning to take a week, but 4 days is my limit. I gotta do stuff. Okay, inspecting my wall, I've got one crack, which is crazy. It's like 100 meters of wall. There's only one crack right here. I'm thinking I just need to make some well, first pour some water in there so it's all wet. And then, so the cement will stick. And then just make some Slurpee cement and just pour it in there. Hopefully it'll get all the way in. Of course, this will also be sealed by the next block on top. But, I just want to fill it in, keep this from shifting anymore. Not a major problem though, because this is all going to be leaning against dirt, so it'll all hold itself together. Even with a whole bunch of vertical cracks, it would really stand up fine. All right, and next I just need to go around digging. Just take more dirt and get this ground up higher so that I can, stand up high enough to do the next layer. Over here it's pretty high, but on the other side of the island it's still pretty low. I also want to put some kind of mesh in here just to keep the dirt from spreading and pushing against the wall. So, a geotextile, as they call it. It's just something in there to keep the ground from spreading out. So I'm thinking I'm going to put that at about the level here where the seam is, and then put another layer of that up here, and then the ground level will be up here. So I can get fishing nets that are pretty cheap, and they're huge. I should be able to get enough to go around here. Of course, this clay is also just incredibly dense and strong. Like, it dries out and it doesn't, it's not like it's gonna just spread out and push against the wall. Like, I could remove the wall and the whole thing would stay there. Like over here, it's a vertical wall and it's holding itself together fine. But still, I'm gonna put some mesh in here just in case. I guess really the first order of business is to fill this in where it's actually got some water. Oh, there is something else I want to do before I start building the ground up too much. Okay, most of the island, or most of the wall around the island, is curved in this way, right? So that means as it's leaning in, it's leaning against itself, like pushing against the parts around it. But this section here goes that way. So that means it's leaning this way, leaning away from itself, which means if it cracks, it could just fall in. Where the dirt is, that'll hold it, so that won't be a problem. But the wall is going to continue up, and I don't want it to, shift against the dirt and kind of fall in and cave in a little bit. So I'm going to take some of the foundation blocks, I still have a few left over, and put one maybe here, one over there, or maybe two. Anyway, just make like a flange, like an extra wall coming out this way that'll go up. And maybe I'll even make another tower here, just a little tower, just because I really just need the walls here just to hold the wall from shifting. I've also been playing with this clay a little bit, and I made a ball like a week ago, left it out in the sun to dry out, and it's really hard. I think I might be able to fire this and basically turn it into, like, obviously this won't be a brick, but I could make bricks if I made it into, not round balls. So maybe I'll make a fire at some point and fire this just to see how it turns out. Alright, let's get cracking. You have to kind of ease into it slowly a little bit, because one thing I learned from running track was that after After several days of taking rest, you kind of get new connections, like new muscle and tendon connections that can get ripped easily again. But if you kind of slowly ease into it, then they'll kind of like get stretched out to match the other tendons and muscles and stuff, and then they can join in the fight and make you stronger. Or you can just come back and go 100% right away and rip all the new ones, and you don't get the strength that you gained from the rest. So, important to kind of ease into it. Not be too eager. Which is a little bit difficult because I just want to go crazy and start digging like a maniac. But no. Boy, I sure could use a bulldozer right now. I also need to make more wall mold pieces to speed up the operation. And I do like the mold I've been using to make these pieces. So I might just make 2 more of those out of fiberglass. And that mold is basically a sheet on this side, a sheet on the other side, and then pins, PVC pipe pins that go through, and they're held in by nails on both sides. And then the top just has some pieces of PVC with slots in it that fit on just to hold the top in, which has been working pretty well. Another thing I need to remember is over here there's going to be a tower. Following this curve, it's going to curve right around, and this will go up, and there'll be a couple floors up there. And I don't want to just rely on the wall to hold up the floor supports, because that means I'll have to put a hole through the wall, and the wood will be exposed to the outside. Unless I have it just go part way in, but that won't leave much space. It could slip off and fall in. So I'd much rather have like big flange things coming up, and there'll be a nice platform here for the wood floors or whatever I'm using to sit on. That should all be fairly straightforward against that wall back there. But then when it curves around and the wall comes through here, I'm gonna have to dig all this down to put the foundation blocks pretty low. Which does also bring up another point. The foundation for most of the wall is sitting in water, and it's on pretty solid ground. Like, the ground is surprisingly solid under all this, little surface layer of muck. But still, it'll compress differently than the dry ground up here. But hopefully the wall just sitting here under its own weight for a little while will help compress that. Alright, right now I have this. I've got my wall going around. Next I need to dig out around the rest of this circle to put, this part in. Now this bottom foundation part is going to be a lot easier than this one, because this one was in the water. So I had to make these pieces out of the water, then slide them down and put them in the water, and then, then this was above the water and I could just pour the concrete in up here. But here it's all dry, so I can just pour the concrete in this part to make the foundation. And then I need this to come up to the same level where the wall is right now. And I also want to build these things, and as they go up, eventually floor joists will rest on those. And I'll probably have a central, I think I need to put a central pillar in too, because it's pretty wide. So I'll have that in there, and then I can have wood that goes from there to there, there to there, and across here to make, you know, the joists for the floor. And obviously this will be higher because one level above this will be ground level, so that'll all be filled in with dirt, but then the floor joists will go like up here somewhere. Alright, so I'm gonna have this thing. This is these just blown up. So I'm gonna have this, and then I'll have a piece of, you know, wood, floor joist, whatever, coming off that. And then I'm gonna want another one of these up there, but I don't want it to just be stuck to the wall. I'd rather have it be pressing on this one, so I might just make a hole for the piece of wood and just have this continue. So maybe it'll go up and kind of blob out around, and then leave a hole for the wood to go in there. I don't know, I'm still working this out. Luckily I have lots of digging and a whole bunch of concrete to do before I get to that part.